All right. Yeah, I guess it would, right? Well, we'll see.
Theoretically.
We shall see. If not, we're going to be doing this for nothing. All right. So again, like I said, this is the class that precedes or that goes after the business planning clinic. And it also comes after doing your life by design. And then before that is your 443 or your Ignite class. All right. This is where I hate to say this, but a lot of people drop off. This is the most boring part, but this is, believe it or not, if you don't do this, I guarantee you, if you're successful in the next like 3 to 5 years, and then you take this class, it's like that. You ever see that commercial? I should have had a V8. Yeah. That's this. That's this. So even though it's going to be like, hey, we've already done this. There are going to be a lot of pieces we have done in this already, but it's all been broken out for different things. But this is put together to be, guarantee you do everything in here, you're going to get a minimum hit 36 transactions a year. But you got to do it 100%. Just because you do the activity doesn't mean that you did it the right way. If you do the activity, you just do the activity. But if I do the activity and put 100% into it, you're going to get a better result. Okay? I don't know if that makes sense to everyone who's going to be reading this. Mm-hmm. All right. So let's get past the first page. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, you got to be kidding me. I got to do this with every single one of these?
Yeah, that's how I came across in the email too.
All right. I got to work on that. All right. Acknowledgements. We are, this is all foreplay. All right. Going through the table of contents. This is ground rules I really don't put too much into. How you learn, why you are here, what will make this a great training experience, how to describe yourself and how others describe you is probably, we're definitely going to cover this today. I only want to do half today because the other half is going to be for tomorrow. But this is, you really, it's hard to say because, even though you guys are business owners, you're really not business owners. You're not really true business owners. Say if you had like $10,000 and you had a chance to start up whatever business you wanted, who's your target? Why would they want to go to you? And that's why a lot of people don't start up their own businesses because they don't know what to do. They're too scared. They don't want to take that risk. And this puts it into perspective. Oh, cool. It's all together now. All right. So the first part, introduction, personal validity, powerful positioning, sprinting past the competition, putting it all together. All right. Back to upside down again. All right. Introduction, ground rules. I don't care about the ground rules. Blah, blah, blah. Limited conversation. Turn your cell phone off. Consider everything. Okay. All right. Consider everything we do in class confidential. What is discussed and role play behind closed doors. No, this is one thing. This is a Keller Williams thing. I was back in like 2004, 2005. They wanted to keep everything in house. No. Talk to as many people as possible. Tell them what you're learning. All right, here we go. All right, in this manual, you're going to find models and systems. These are tested and proven ways of accomplishing big goals. Okay, I don't have to go over this with you guys. Everything in that MREA book, everything I've taught you is in that book. Okay, models and systems. Look at Ken. Look at myself. Look how many deals we've done. Look at Paul, what he did last year. Every person on my team, I want to say prior to this year, has capped. I don't think there was one person that did not cap that was on my team. Okay. But it wasn't easy. It's about I didn't make this stuff up. I didn't say, hey, eat this. This is going to work. I got this from millionaires who opened their books up to Gary Keller, Mo Anderson, and basically said, this is what we did to make this work. And they put it all in a nice red book for us. Okay. So I'm not saying do this, it works. I'm saying, hey, I read the manual. It works. All right. Exercises and discussions. This is huge. Like, you don't know how many times I've role played over and over and over and over and over again. Okay. One of the biggest things I always tell you guys when you put your goals, I know some of you do it, some of you don't do it, but when you write out your schedules, whatever appointments you're scheduling yourself for that week, if you're not going on those appointments, guess what you're doing? You're going on that appointment with another agent on our team or somebody else. You're role playing that appointment, whether it's a listing appointment, buyer consult, blah, blah, blah. You got to do it. You still got to do your activities, but you got to do your activities on a high level. Okay. So you can't just say, okay, I'm going to read this out of the book, read this script and I'm done, or I'll read it with my sister. No. If you're reading, don't get me wrong. If you're reading it with your sister or your brother or whoever, but they have no knowledge of the real estate world. They have no knowledge of the objections. And if they did, do you really think they're going to give it better than another agent would? Another agent who's been doing this for a very long time, or somebody in sales that's familiar with objection handlers and stuff like that. Find that person. That's who I want to train with. If I want to be the best quarterback, I'm not going to my neighbor's house. Hey, you want to throw a football around? No. I'm going to either get a coach or I'm going to go to a football field and, and I'm going to play with them, or I'm going to, work out with them. Stories, lessons learned, and advice from top agents. Again, that's the book. Lead from example. Okay. All right. I'm not going to get into that. All right. Accountability methods. Accountability is, in the KW experience, the most crucial part of goal achievement to support your goal setting. We recommend you develop a lead generation action plan. At the end of this course, you will create a plan that outlines specific actions that you will take to achieve your lead generation goals. You will also create a calendar that helps you schedule your specific activities for your daily 3 hours of lead generation. I mean, this is what I'm telling you. You're scheduling. You put your lead generation in there. And this goes back, and this little model right here, it's like set your goals. Okay, what do we do in Life by Design? We set our goals, right? All right. Do the activities. Okay, 3 lead sources. I always told you guys need 3 lead sources. And I tell you to put that in your schedule and put down when you want to lead gen. Measure your results. That's awesome. When you're doing your lead generation, guess what you're doing? I tell you to keep 2 pieces of paper, one for your objection handlers and one for your leads. So this way you can calculate, hey, what's a better call? Expired calls, cold calls, or my database calls? You're tracking your lead sources. Evaluate the process. Oh, you know what? These 3 lead sources, only 2 of them are good. One's really horrible. I'm doing another lead source over here that's really killing it. I might want to switch them. Or I might want to evaluate that third one. Am I really doing it 100% compared to the other one I want to bring in? Make adjustments. Exactly. You're going to take that third one out, put that other one in, and you're going to switch them out. This is everything I've taught you. This is everything we've gone over. And then it circles back into, guess what? Next year, setting new goals, especially when you break a goal. What do? I'm going to pick on you, Paul, because you're the only one on here. When you go to the gym, what was your max bench last year? What was your goal last year? I should say that. What was your goal last year when you were at the gym?
Just to be able to bench. I mean, I was struggling with 135 a year ago.
Okay, and what are you doing now?
I just hit 205.
Okay, so why did you do that? Why did you go from 135 to 205?
Specific systems that I was using. Like each week I'd be doing something geared towards it. Well, yeah.
Is this something that you wanted to do, or it came natural from you working out? It just came natural. That was the next thing I hit. That was the next thing I hit. Like, I mean, put it this way.
It's a little bit of both, really.
Right. But I mean, Okay, so what I'm trying to say is like there's goals that are indirect that you want to hit, and then there's indirect goals. So in your scenario, let's say at the end of last year, you did 135. You did 135 pounds benching. But in your goals for 2020 or 22 or 21, you just wanted to, I don't know, hey, I want body mass. I want that down. I want to feel good. And then boom, boom, boom. But during the transition from last year, December to now, while you were working out, you were realizing, hey, I'm blowing this 135. I'm going to bunch it up to 145. I'm going to bump it up to 155. So when we get to here, you're at 205. So even though that's an achievement, and it can be part of a goal, but it wasn't so my question is, was it a direct goal that, hey, I wrote this down in December, I'm going to do 205 or I'm going to do 225, or was it something else? And then because you're hitting the 205, that was indirectly achieving it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So what do you think that was? Was it an indirect goal or a direct goal? Well, it's easy. Did you put it on your schedule that you wanted to hit 205 by this year?
No, I didn't.
That's an indirect goal. It's still an achievement, but it was something that you continuously did. I still want to work out, but you went from 135 to 205.
Yeah.
Ken, let me ask you this. I'm glad you popped on because this is perfect. At the end of last year, you set your goals for 2021, right?
Yep.
Okay. Name me some of your goals that were on there, if you don't mind.
I always want a cap. I wanted to put some money away for investment property, and I wanted to start making some more passive income.
Okay. So on those goals, did you put down that you wanted to sell an $800,000 property?
Nope.
Did you do that this year?
Under contract. It's not settled, but it's under contract.
Okay. Do you think that's an achievement?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay. And that's what you're going to get from this lead generation, guys. So even though you're going to create goals for yourself, you're going to create personal goals, you're going to create money goals, you're going to hit so many different accolades that are going to mean something to you, but you didn't write them down. Trust me, it was very eye-opening. I've been in the business probably 20 plus years. And last year, this time, same thing what Ken's going through. I had a nice one. Wasn't my biggest, but you know what? Damn, felt good. And I guarantee you, Paul, when you broke that 200, you're like, damn, it felt good, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to get that in lead generation. You're going to get that, like, every once in a while, you'll get that, hey, man, I got that huge listing. Like, Frank's going to go out there, get a $400,000, $500,000 listing, and he's going to shit himself. He's like, yeah, this is awesome. And that's what happens when you stick to your plan, when you stick to your model and follow those models. You're going to see that icing on the cake. If you stick to the ingredients, you're going to get that icing on the cake. So one of the biggest things, and this is another thing I agreed with, like select an accountability partner or a program to help you measure, evaluate, make adjustments in your action plan. Look to following resources for an accountability relationship. Dude, if I ever had to put a tattoo on myself, like, I know you guys seen me with this little bracelet on here. This keeps me in check. But if I probably were to ever get a tattoo, this is the tattoo right here. To set the goals, do the activities, measure the results, evaluate the process, make the adjustments. This works in every level. Everything you do, working out, diet, I don't care. You can't name a thing that you can't use that to help you. And it's there. It's basically the circle of life. It's a circle of achievement, you know? And when they say these are the recommended people that you should use as your accountability partner, yeah, without a doubt, MAPS Institute, one of the biggest and best coaching places out there, but you're going to pay. And then you got your Market Center productivity coach. We have two of them. Team leader, you have Jose, and you also have myself. ALC members. If you don't know what an ALC member is with Keller Williams, you really need to get with me or Ken. These are like your board of directors for the office. These guys help the team leader with all the agents in the office, but they're great these are supposedly top producers, top 10% or top 20% in the office. And then your peers, you know, if you just want to do a quick role playing with somebody. But the whole thing is, if you're going to have a steady accountability partner, besides you guys filling this out, they need a copy of this, because how are they going to keep you accountable if they don't know what they're looking at, if they don't know what you're shooting for, you know, and how serious that you are on this. All right, we got more upside down stuff. Give me 1 second here. All right. So this book was done, I think it was done 2004, 2006. So some of these stats might be a little off. I did research to get updated stats on this stuff. All right. Let's go into this. Sorry. You are a real estate professional. You are wholly qualified to competently handle a real estate transaction, deliver superior customer service, and to give customers professional, life-changing advice. That is huge. You're not selling someone a car. You're selling someone where they're going to live for the next 10, 15, 20 years. Your real estate experience thus far, plus your personal history, no matter what it is, make you uniquely competent for this job. Uniquely. That's the word I want you to focus on. So if you told the world and at your core, are you confident about what people are paying you for? This is huge because this is the beginning part of all sales. Why am I going to use you? Kelly, why am I going to use you over Ken? Ken, why am I going to use you over Paul? You know, let's say somebody in your database knows you and 3 other realtors. How confident do you feel right now with what you have conversed with them about that they're going to use you? You know? And that's what it comes back to. And like I said, this is you're not going to fix this overnight, but this is the first step to becoming a powerful agent. And you just have to show your uniqueness. Gary Keller tells a story about being a team leader, watching agents caught up in the image trap. Do not do this. He says what happened is agents would get into the real estate and then feel that they could not take action until they had business cards. All right. Nothing stops you from sales. Nothing. Okay. You sell, you do whatever you want on this team. Just check with me. Nothing stops you. But these guys literally would create roadblocks for themselves. And they created this roadblocks out. Oh, you know what? And this is true because when I first got into business, I saw agents do this all the time and they would just sit around. I'm like, dude, aren't you new here? He's like, yeah, why aren't you hitting the phones? Oh, my business cards haven't come out yet. The fuck's a business card got to do with it? Oh, I can't do anything about my business cards. And I'm like, oh, I guess, is that a rule or something? All right, very cool. All right, sucks for you though. But they would use, how many times have I know I still do it. Procrastination is my hugest thing that holds me up. I mean, I'm a great negotiator. I'll talk myself out of doing so many things. But you can't let your mind create this stuff for you because it'll just hurt you in the end. Let's see here. They never cease to surprise me, amaze me. It's never about the business card that makes you a valid real estate professional. Validity is nothing more than a feeling at your core, very good and confident about who you are communicating that value potential to customers. This is huge. Because when you're talking to your clients, your current clients or your database or your new people, what's that one term I always use when you go into Raymour Flanigan? It's the first impressions. If you walked into Raymour Flanigan and the bed wasn't made and the salespeople were in shorts and they were just like, jamming to some music, you taking that place serious? I mean, yeah, it's probably a fun place to hang out. But if I'm in there looking to spend $5,000 on a bed, I see that's not the right place for me, So, but if I go in there and these guys are eager to help me out, and I ask them about the bed, and they tell me, hey, this was built by a company that's been in business for the last 50 years. They give a 100% warranty. This is not pressure compressed wood. This is actually really oak wood and all. And if you know your product, that's the person. Now, to break off a little bit, I haven't spoken to this one guy. I see him on Facebook every once in a while. He's been in my database. I think, Paul, you might have helped him out down the line too. This guy bought a house for me 3 years ago, and he religiously gives me people, recommends me, likes all my posts. And he called me out of the day, and he said, hey, Mike, I just want to let you know my sister's on the market. She's coming up here, and she's looking to buy a house. Would you be willing to take someone on? I'm like, yeah, sure. I would love to. And at the end of the conversation, I'm like, look, just out of curiosity, I mean, we haven't spoken to him in a while. Don't get me wrong. I love the lead. I love you called me, but what made you call me? He's like, dude, I wouldn't recommend no one but you. You treated us like we were the only people on this planet. And I know if my sister's looking for a house, you are the man. That's why I wanted to ask you if you were still 100% into this, it's going to be you. And I'm like, wow, that meant a lot. That meant a lot. So when that comes back to me, that's when I go out looking, showing houses. Because if these people have confidence in me to give me their sister and basically say, go find them a house, it's not like saying, hey, when you get a chance from your full-time job, can you go show my sister a house and maybe you guys will get lucky and get a house? No, they know I'm going to find them a solid house. They know she's going to love me as much as they love me. I'm like, that's part of your value proposition, guys. That's it right there. All right. And with the next paragraph basically says everything I just said. It's all about getting your value proposition out. And everyone's value proposition is different. Kelly's is different from Ken. Paul's is different from me. So there's two different, this is where, and like I said, I tried, you got Kelly and Ken, you came on here early. This is going to be the most boring part, but if you follow the steps, if you follow the 443, the Ignite, do your life by design, go to business planning. This is the next step, but this is where I lose. This is where Keller Williams loses probably about 50% of the students because they don't get it. And if you don't get this part, you're really not going to succeed. And the funniest thing was when I first got in here, I think it was about maybe 3 years into this, I took this class and this all clicked. It all made sense. And I wish I went back 3 years ago and did it the right way. So this is going to take some time. How do you describe yourself? And what we could stick as an agent, we could do it on a personal level. You can do it on whatever you want. Okay. How do you describe yourself? So whether you have a mirror in front of me, if I'm looking at myself, how am I describing myself as an agent? Would I sell myself a house, or would I honestly go with somebody else? Like, what are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? Okay. And then after I get done that, take a client, even if you take your mom and you say, okay, how does my mom describe me? Oh, she's going to use me no matter what because I'm her son. Okay, great. Go down a step. Let's go to the family member who maybe that doesn't like you, but they really don't talk to you and you guys really don't hang out. Use that person. So if you're Uncle Tom, we're basically to say, I'm selling my house. And you're thinking to yourself, how would they describe you? Would they use you? If they were having an independent interview with somebody else, how would they describe you honestly? Okay. This is not to pick out kinks in your armor. This is not to make you a bad person. This is not to make you a great person. This is basically just for validity. That, you want to validate how you describe yourself, and now you're going to validate to yourself how other people think of you. Okay. So with both of those, you're going to put both of those together, and you're going to define your customer service. Believe it or not, what you wrote down in those two columns is most of your value proposition. Now, the only thing we have to do after that is polish it off. So you're going to circle some words. The words that you're going to circle are the ones that, like the powerful one, I'm dedicated. I keep a good schedule. I make sure that nothing else is more important than getting that property sold. So dedication, you're going to be circling that. But then when it comes to, hey, what are my weaknesses? I procrastinate. You're going to put a square around that. Okay. So these are things you're going to focus on. And then powerful positioning, create your value proposition from that. And then after a while, when we get through this, you're going to create your unique selling proposition. So what's the difference between my value proposition and my unique selling proposition? Paul, do you know that? The reason I picked you is because you went to basic training. So you should get that. Should be a hint for you.
mean, it's going to make you stand out. Whatever, because everyone's value proposition 9 times out of 10 is, if you're going off of, just, 10 average agents, 9 of them are going to have something similar. It's always going to be, something similar, just differently worded. But your USP is something that makes you stand out amongst those other agents.
Correct. So let's take the Navy SEALs. All right. Navy SEALs, usually there's a group of 5 to 6 of them. Each one have a special, their own little fine thing to do. But before they became Navy SEALs, they had to go through boot camp or whatever the Marines go through. And then they go through training from that. So when you initially go through like a basic training, everyone has to be the same. Okay. Everyone has to get their head shaved, blah, 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 same uniform, same everything. But during basic training, your value proposition is being made. Okay. You're learning how to do certain things. You're learning how to do stuff. So every single agent, when they come on board Keller Williams, you have the same classes. You have the same training. Everybody, you're not special. Everybody goes, they don't create a class just for you guys. No, everybody goes through the Ignite. Everybody goes through the Life by Design. Everybody goes through the 443. Okay. Only the select people after that get invited to a class like this, or get invited to a business planning clinic. They pick certain individuals. So after basic training is done, after your training is done, they get the group of guys. Now let's take the Navy SEALs. Even though there's 6 of them and they're all qualified to do everyone's job, each single one of them has a different job. One's the scout, one's the radio guy, one's the medic. They all have their certain unique selling proposition. And that's where it comes when we're on a team, or when you start to become a great agent and you're doing 36 deals. After you're doing 36 deals, you know what your strong points are. If you're going to be a heavy listing agent. If I'm a heavy listing agent and I'm doing, say, 24 deals, do you think I'm getting a lot of buyers? Answer is actually yes. If you're a heavy listing agent, you're getting a lot of buyers, but you're not picking them up. You're getting a lot of buyer leads, but you're not converting those buyers because you're focusing on those listings. Okay. So keep that in mind. So when you go through Ignite, you're actually creating your value proposition. But by the end of Ignite, or going into 36, 12-3, you're actually creating your unique selling proposition. Why does somebody want to list with you, Kelly, compared to Paul? Why are they using you? And this, again, goes for everything. This goes for your acting too. This goes for everything. Why am I picking you? Just like when we were kids, who got picked last? Who got picked first? Why?
I had no friends. Nobody ever picked me. Nobody ever picked me.
Oh my goodness. All right. When we do the 36, 12, 3, this is the course map. We're here. We're at the validity and positioning. We're going to get into prospecting. We're going to get into marketing. We're going to get into leveraging your database. This is your foundation. If you have a foundation like this, that's strong, you can start building your systems. And then once you start building your systems, then you're going to build your team. Okay. And that goes with working with METs. Everybody knows what that is. Farming, open houses, for sale by owners, agent referrals. Let me ask you a question. Oh, and then you got lead generation and living your goals. This is your, of this right here, what is not permanent? What can be changed?
I can't really see it.
You can't see it? Oh, I'm sorry. We blow it up. Sorry about that, guys.
Now, what can get rid of it? Like, what can we get
Not get rid of it, but what can I change? I'm glad you said that, because I hope I didn't. Well, everybody has the course materials. Yeah, this is just like a house. This is just like a house.
Your pillars can change.
Why can it change?
Because some things, just because, these are pillars that are, using an example, everyone's pillars are going to be different.
That's great. These are your lead sources. See, this is your foundation. You have to have a good foundation. Okay. Your unique selling proposition. You have to prospect. You have to market. I don't care if it's I'm going to put a billboard out there or I'm going to throw something out there. You have to do this stuff. To be successful, you have to market. I'm sorry. You have to prospect. You have to market. Leveraging a database. You have to have a CRM. You have to have a database. This is your foundation here. Without this, this will just come tumbling down, just like Jenga. These are interchangeable. This is your lead sources. Whatever your most powerful way of getting leads and converting them to settlements, whether it's social media, open houses, expireds, whatever, that goes here. That goes all in here. Now up here is your lead conversion. Your lead conversion is basically you keeping track of your numbers. This is your roof. If you don't have a roof, you're going to get wet. By you tracking your numbers, you're going to make your overhead a lot less, and you're going to hit your goals a lot faster than a normal person who's winging it. All right? Mm-hmm. Kelly, thanks again for pointing that out. All right, trading expert, who cares? All right. All right. I remember this class. He played nothing but he played that song the whole damn time. All right. Your personal validity comes from knowing exactly what it is you bring to the table. It comes from incorporating specific strengths into your personal self-talk and your self-image. It comes from knowing who you are in the terms of skills and attitudes. Okay. What would be the difference between Danielle and Jose? As team leaders, who would you pick? Like if
Danielle.
Why is that?
She's been doing it a lot longer, and she trained him.
Great. If you were a new agent and you're the agent recommending that agent to go talk to that person, who would you recommend?
Depends on their personality.
I love it because even though Danielle would have been a great answer because, like I said, I want her in good hands. She's got the experience. But let's say that person just got out of the military. Or maybe that person had a language barrier. Maybe that person needed that extra coddling. I'm going to give them to Jose because Jose will have more dedicated time. Nothing wrong against Danielle, but Danielle's about the facts. Danielle's about getting the job done. So she may hit them on a personal level, but I know Jose will with all his success stories and his, yeah. So, and that's what it's about, you know, what are our strengths and do we recognize what our strengths are and are we promoting our strengths to our people? Do they know what we do? Do they know how we can help them? Do they know our strengths? All right. All right. What makes you valid knowledge? Okay. You can draw up upon two important sources for the words and phrases that you'll use to clarify yourself, who you are. There are steps 1, 2 of the 5-step model to building your USP. The words and phrases that you would use to describe yourself. Okay. And this goes back to that first step I was telling you about, that first diagram. Do this. This is a good exercise. Because like I said, I'm going to be honest with you. I was really surprised that a lot of my family members, a lot of my close friends used me as a real estate agent. And it was funny. I went back to this one guy. We went to college together and we did some stupid shit. I mean, but he hit it big. He hit it big in the IT and he comes out and he wants to buy a $550,000 Ocean City property. And he calls me up. He's like, "Oh, I saw you, I know you got your PA license. You got your Jersey license." I'm like, yeah, I got my Jersey license. And this is the time I was working at Rio Grande with Remax. And he's like, "Dude, I'm looking for a house in Ocean City." I'm like, "All right, great. Let's do it." So part of me was like, I got this guy. We can go out, go show some houses, hit the bar, have a good time. But now I'm thinking to myself, no, I got to keep this professional. So I did. And I let him lead that if we were going to go out, have a drink or two. And there was times where we went out for lunch. The waitress would come over. "What would you like to drink?" Oh no, Jim, what do you want to drink? I'm gonna have a nice tea. I'll have a nice tea. Next time we're out, he has a Samuel Adams. I have a Samuel Adams. So it's about mirror and matching. Okay. I know I told you guys that, and that's important. So what I'm getting at, when we got done this transaction, I asked him, I'm like, look, I appreciate the deal. If you don't mind me asking, why did you use me? Can I get some feedback from you, you know? And he basically told me, he's like, yeah, I know we grew up together, but man, I've been seeing you on Facebook. I've been seeing you out there, people talking about you. I'm like, dude, you're a dedicated. I had to try it. I had to use you. I'm like, that's great. That's awesome. And at the end, I'm like, would you recommend me to any of your family members in the future? I was like, dude, every day, you're my guy. That meant a lot. Now, could he have been nice and, you know, because of our relationship together? Sure. But you got to create your unique selling proposition. All right. So no matter what your story is, along the way, you have collected knowledge, attitude, skills, beliefs that make you uniquely qualified to be your customer's real estate agent. And if you read this goes on and on about giving you examples of how to describe yourself, how to go back and, like, you know, and see what you're, you know, how important you are, and basically start creating your value proposition. I just do that again.
Are you kidding me?
It's Marikel.
I think I broke the thing in my freaking MacBook.
Oh no.
My plug.
Oh no.
Yeah, I know. Oh no.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no, 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 no.
All right. The first exercise, part 1, examine the experience with an eye to the knowledge of attitude, skills, beliefs that you've accumulated. Make notes as you think through your experience, and forget about being modest. All right. Start with your resume. What's on it? These are exercises that seem really tedious. But let me ask you this question. Kern, if you had to go back from even at the end of high school to now, what are your 3 most strongest traits about you?
Outgoing. I mean, I'm always there for people. So I don't know, I'm outgoing. I'm a goofball, but I'm always there for people, and I'm outgoing, and I'm good at math.
Good at math. Okay. No. So the first 2. Now, if I had to describe you, those first 2 are definitely on there. The only other thing I would probably add is, like, your dedication is, like, by far, like, top notch. Like, whether when you were with the billboard company and you were fighting me against the billboard company, but it wasn't the love for the billboard company. It was the love for providing for your family because of the pension and the health benefits. But your dedication to your clients was paramount. You know, it was just like off the hook. And that's what they're trying to do here. They want you to start on your resume, you know, and they want you to say, okay, what have you accomplished? What have you done? So then consider what you know. Do you study something in school? Have your experiences taught you anything? So, Paul, after high school, what did you do to change or learn to make you a better person, who you picked up another knowledge or, you know, another asset to your character?
So 2 weeks after graduation, I shipped out for the Army.
Yeah. And what did they teach you? What did they teach you that you were not going to learn without going into the Army?
How not to be an asshat.
And not to be an asshat?
Yeah, because literally, like, you know, you come in there and, you know, everyone's got their own, you know, facade that they put up. But, you know, after about 6 weeks of grown men screaming in your face and, you know, having you do all these things and basically taking control of your life.
All right. So let me ask you this then. So if you did not go to basic training, would you not be the same person you are today?
I mean, I wouldn't have the same mindset on a lot of things, I don't
Okay.
think, but
That's awesome.
and I'm not shitting on anybody who didn't, saying they're, immoral, things like that. It's just
Whatever,
And that's
Paul.
what. But here,
just an asterisk there.
But that's what makes and that's where you're falling into the uniqueness. Like when we were kids, we went to elementary school. When we graduated elementary school, we went to middle school, or we still stayed in that school, and then we went to a high school, and then we all graduated. That's your basic training. After basic training, everybody else went their own way. Whether you stayed in school, or whether you did a career, you started a family, whatever happened, good or bad, that becomes our unique selling prop. That becomes our value proposition, because we're learning different things. Now, whether we learn bad things, whether we learn good things, where we learn to overcome things, that skill where we learn to overcome it, that's your strength. Let me see here. Now, let me make it relevant. I don't need to read that.
I have to step away. This is my lawyer, but I'll leave it on. Okay, I'll be right back.
Yeah, no, go for it.
Give him hell, Kel.
Kelly has a lawyer. All right. Now, these are 2006's results. I did actually look up to see what was 2018. I think 2019. All right. So according to 2006, NAR of home buyers and sellers. So every year, the National Association of Realtors, when you sell a house, they get this big giant envelope. It's a cool envelope. They can do it online, or they can handwrite one. And it was funny because I was actually waiting for mine. When we bought this house, I was actually waiting for mine. And when February came and went and I didn't get it, I'm like, fraud. Wouldn't you know it, the next day, there it was, my 13-page document, where I can go online and fill it out. And I'm like, this is cool. But as of 2006, they were saying to buyers and sellers, number one, your agent was honest and trustworthy. Agent's reputation was very important to them. So when I say an agent's reputation, back prior to 2006, we also had a lot of brokerages. They wore suits, awards, and stuff like that. Agent is a friend or family member, only 16%, but that 16% is pretty strong. Agent's knowledge of the neighborhood. Believe it or not, in 1990, this was about 26%, 30%, because there was no internet back then, and they had to go to the local real estate office. So then you look at the seller side. Agent's reputation of real estate and the agent's honesty and trustworthy is at 21% compared to 35%. Now, the agent honesty was not top, but on the buyer side, it was. Seller's reputation was not important as much on the seller side. Can anybody tell me why? Give me a good answer why that is.
I don't know, to be honest with you.
I have like a theory. So a lot of people 9 times out of 10 they're filling this out of buyers. So how well are you really getting to know your seller's agent?
Gotcha. So what you're saying, you're basically saying that most of the people that filled out this form were buyers.
I think so. I mean,
okay, that's one way of looking at it. Let me put it to you in another way. Buyers most likely are all first-time home buyers. There's going to be some that are returned, especially these guys, because if they're selling, they're here. But if I'm a first-time home buyer, when I meet somebody, I want them to be honest, because if they lie to me, they're gone. How many times have you heard of an agent losing a client because they gave them the wrong information? Happens all the time. Right. But here's the deal. The sellers, they've already bought before. They've already been there. They want the experienced agent now. They want somebody who's sold. So they always ask the recommendation of like either a mom or dad, but they also they want that broker. They want that top agent in that area. And then they fall. But don't get me wrong, these guys are close together. And the funny thing is 2019's numbers has not changed. They've gone up actually. Agent honesty and trustworthiness is at 30%. Agent's reputation, actually, believe it or not, was at 19%. Now on the seller side, reputation of a real estate agent was at 36%. And the honesty and trustworthiness was at 26%. All right. Let me ask you this question. Do you ever do this with your clients? Do you ever ask them why they used you? Do you ever get feedback from them on a routine basis?
I mean, I get emails when the deal's over from feedback forms.
What's the majority of the feedback that you get from your clients? If you had to put them all together, what are the top 3 things that they say about you?
Honest, go over the top, and
Annoying.
knowledgeable.
Annoying.
Just
Definitely not. I know. But that's it. I mean, I've never met a person that would go to a Home Depot to force a seller to go back to settlement or negotiate them to go back to settlement. That
Rebuild steps, clean out a garage, clean out a
go get a
closet.
refrigerator after the agent stole it. I mean, dude, you tops. So Kelly, let me ask you this. In the last couple of deals that you've done, with the feedback that you've gotten, especially from Darius and all those other people,
Demetrius.
What are the top, Demetrius, I'm sorry.
Okay.
What are the top 3 things that they would say about you?
Diligent. I communicate. I'm in constant communication, so they know what's going on.
That's awesome.
And I have like a really friendly, welcoming personality. Like I make them feel comfortable.
Now, how long have you been with acting?
Like 3 months now, 4 months.
Okay, so have you dealt with people for those 3 months? I know you switched coaches. I know you.
I've just coaches now, but yeah.
Okay, so what would your people say about you? What are your top 3 strong points?
In acting?
Yeah.
My personality, my talent, and my drive.
What would be the 3 weaknesses that they told you?
I beat up on myself, so I judge myself too much. I'm too hard on myself. Just like really that's it. Like I just judge myself too much. I'm my biggest critic. So
my question to you guys, when they talk to you, your ego gets bigger when they tell you what you're good at. So you know what you're doing. But do you ever ask them what your weaknesses were? Do you ever think about asking them that? Now that's a loaded question because there are some deals that you don't want to bring up with your clients. Maybe something happened. But if you want to take yourself out of the box and actually make you a better person, after they tell you what's good about you, if you had to change 1 or 2 things with this deal, what would it be? So you're not saying, hey, what are the 3 most bad things about me that you hate about me? You're not saying that. But what you're saying is, during this transaction, if there was one thing that you could change, what would it be and why? And you can decipher if it's from your value proposition or if it's something that you can strengthen with it. And believe it or not, I do this with every single one of my deals. And to this day, I sweat my ass off when I ask that question. I do. Because there's times where I don't want people to tell me really what they think of me or what they, and it goes back to that, like, am I really the best person for this person, for this job? I mean, anybody can do what we do, but because we do it at such a high level, nah. And to this day, like, I think that if someone, believe it or not, in my head, if somebody is thinking about buying a house, I'm sorry, they need to talk to me. They can't talk to anybody else. They need to talk to me. They don't have to use me. They have to talk to me, because once they talk to me, they're going to use me. And that's just the way that's just my ego. That's just the way I built myself. And
I feel very similar though. Like if I go on a listing appointment, I had one the other day and I told her, she said, oh, well, I do mortgages and I know a lot of realtors. I said, listen, you can either interview me first, middle, or last. I don't really care. It doesn't matter to me. I said, wherever you want to put me, I said, I'm more than willing to come at that time. And she's like, that's awful confident of you. I said, just being honest.
I used to use, that's great. And I used to use this one. This is back in when I was with Remax in 2004. I was really cocky. And we were going after it. We were 2004.
You said you were?
You're cocky?
You think I was cocky now, man. I was. So we were doing expireds, and expireds, we would call them up, and we would have to actually look up the numbers. And there was this lady who's like, look, I'm lined up with appointments. I'm like, okay, I'll take your last appointment. She's like, excuse me? I was like, I'll take your last appointment. Like, the right before you make that decision, I'll take the last appointment. And she's like, why wouldn't you want the first appointment? I was like, because when I sit in front of you, I'm going to blow you away. I'm going to offer you stuff that they don't even think about. And they were like, all right. And the whole point of me getting the last appointment was because I'm shutting everybody down. I'm bringing my listing contract with me. They're signing there. And then, I would come up with crazy objection handlers. Like they would say to me, like, if they were interviewing 5 people and I was the 5th person, I'm like, look, well, we got to make our decision. I was like, well, let me ask you a question. Everything I said to you made sense to you, correct? Yes. I told you how I was going to get you top dollar and how I was going to get your property sold faster than any of those other 4 agents, correct? Yes. She's like, then why wouldn't you sign with me? Well, I would have to call back the other 4 agents and let them know. Give me their business cards. Give me their information. I'll call them for you. And they're like, you would do that? I'm like, damn right, I'll do that for you. Sign here. And that would work. And I would love making those phone calls. Hey, Steve, saw you were interviewing at 123 Main Street. Yeah. Who's this? Mike Fitzpatrick from Remax. I'm like, all right, why are you calling? So I get the listing. If you have any buyers, let me know. And it was just like phone call, hey, F you after F you. But that's how confident I was. I always wanted that last listing appointment. Always wanted that last one because I would blow it out of the water.
Mike,
because if you're the first one, sometimes it's hard because they want to compare. They want to make sure that they're, getting the best one. They're not leaving anything on the table. But I close them out. What's up, Kel?
Oh, good. You can hear me? I didn't know if my computer got messed up.
Yep.
No, I said, wouldn't that burn bridges if you ever had to come across that agent again in a transaction?
I burned a ton of bridges. That's what we were about. That's how I was told when I was with Remax. We were the best. I was told everybody else was shit compared to us back in the day. And we were killing it. Beth Air Shopping Center, Remax. We were killing it. There was nobody. If you wanted to sell real estate, you had to come with us. You had to be on board with us. We had top-notch system. The front desk did all our paperwork. The only things we had to do was lead generate, market, and go on appointments. We wore suits. We kicked ass. But I was also younger. I was also a lot younger, and I was kind of like driven put in the wrong direction, if I can say that the right way. All right, so going on to the next exercise. This is important. How you describe yourself. What's on your resume? So the first exercise, one of the first exercises they gave you was they wanted you to rate your exercise. So what are some of the jobs that you had? Well, me, I used to be a stock clerk. I used to, stock shelves at night. I used to work at Roy Rogers, blah, blah, blah. Okay. What task did you perform in those jobs? Okay, I'm going to lay them out. I was in charge of timekeeping. I was in charge of shipping. I was in charge of making sure the trucks were unloaded, blah, blah, blah. Going through here. What skills did you develop out of performing those tasks? And this is going to get long for you guys. This is going to be a while because there's a lot of jobs. Like I had a military job. I had a banking job, forklift job. So even though some of these sound so menial, I had important tasks with them. So even though I had a menial job, but some of the stuff was important. And why was it important? Why did they trust me with that? Okay. Then they get into who has been an influence in your life. Who have you looked up to, role models? And one of the things I've always told you guys, especially when you're in sales, you need to change your sphere. Okay. You need to change your 5 core people. Okay. No more high school people. These people have to have succeeded where you want to be next year. Okay. And this is tough for a lot of everybody because it makes them feel uncomfortable. But here's the deal, though. When I was younger, my 5 core people were pot smokers, beer drinkers, and sports watchers. Sounds like a great time, right? Yeah. Knowing what I know now, if I went back to when I was 18, I'd still hang out with them, but not as much. Probably only 25% of the time. I want to focus on the people that are going to get me to where I want to be at a faster place. So if I had to say to you, Kelly, that if your goal was to have a role on a TV show within 5 years, Paul, what would you do?
I'd probably would surround I start making friends with the people that are already succeeding at it.
Have already done that, right?
I'd hang around them and then kind of learn from them, and then eventually implement what they're doing into what I'm doing.
Exactly. And that's one of the things I did when I was with Remax. When I got with Remax after my 4th year, I got this. It started clicking. So I reached out to the people. And like I said, my mindset was different than what it was then compared to now. I was always about killing the deals. I was always about high sales price, more transaction, blah, blah, blah. So I went after the people that owned their own real estate office or had a large team. You get shot down a lot. With Remax, if you don't know the Remax formula, or now it's not a formula, but Remax back in the day, you know how we have those closed offices? Our doors are always open. As soon as they came in, they closed that door, and that door didn't open unless they had to go take a piss or go get a coffee. And then they closed it again. Those doors would not remain open. So when I reached out to these people to see, hey, what they're, don't get away from me. It's my special secret. It's my special recipe. No, get away. But once I found those people that I could learn from, Mike McCann, Alan Dom, Steve Williams, John Dimes, who else was with us at the time? Even though I wouldn't recommend him now, but at that time was Anthony Hughes. Anthony Hughes ran his own business. He had his own team at the time. John Pagano, these are people I wanted to surround myself with because they have achieved what I want to achieve. And believe it or not, when I got to that level, I'm like, okay, I like the level, but I don't like how I got here. So my value proposition actually strengthened because I took some of the bad elements out and replaced them with good elements and got to the same place a little bit even faster. So that's what you got to be open to yourself. You got to be, when you answer these questions, you're not going to be able to fit everything on these lines. You're going to have to get another piece of paper. So who has been an influence in your life? What did you learn from them? What has been an influence in your life? Now, it's not who has been, like what has been an influence in your life. So everybody says, well, my father. Like, no, that's a who. What has been an influence in your life? Was it the Army? Was it your swim club? Was it your acting class? Whatever it is, what has made you stronger? Like your AA meetings, stuff like that. What has made you a stronger person than you were 5 years ago? What did you learn from these things? If this has been such a huge influence, what did you learn from them? Then you're going to get into what kind of specialized knowledge do you have? So if I'm sitting down with somebody that I've never known before, what's my normal routine? Do you follow every home and gardening show? Do you have a college degree? Do you have a religious instruction? This is a good one. This was Rich. Rich belonged to a church. And I was sitting down with him one time. I think he said about 65% of his people came from his church. I'm like, holy crap. I mean, I didn't say that, but I'm like, wow, that was dedication, going after that lead source. Do you know how to work on a car? Have you become technology adept, whatever? What attitudes and beliefs have you accumulated as a result of your experience? Again, this is where we lose people. Like right now, I hear people sign off, close. I'm not coming back tomorrow. This is what I hear. And I love it because when I took this class, this class was called something else in the beginning. It wasn't called 36-12-3. It was called something else. I can't think of the name of it. But anyway, after we had 56 people in our office. So the big conference room was extended. It was all open. We had the smart board going. Everybody had their book. Everybody's ready to go. This was like day 2, day 3. When they hit this, the next day, half the class. 2 days later, we lost half of that. But I'll tell you what, the 13 people that were in there, half of them were on the ALC next year, and all of them capped. It was because they track our numbers. They tracked how many deals you were doing. This is, and I can name some of the names, and they're still here. Like Kevin O'Shea was one of them. George Petrakis, he's no longer with us. He's a home star. Frank Blumenthal, Sean Ryan, myself, I was there. Ken Morawski didn't come yet. Who else was in there? I know they're gone now. But anyway. All right. So when you take all that, you're basically going to circle each word and phrase that makes real estate relevant. This is going to help you get your value proposition together. Pick a phrase with everything you circled with your group. And that's going to be either your value proposition, or it's going to be part of your mission statement of why you're doing what you're doing. Whether you're helping first-time home buyers find houses, whether you're a veteran and you want to focus on military people's needs, or you're a person who loves retirement people, like, downsizing. I'm the person for you. I'm the stager. I'm the high I have open houses, whatever it is, you're going to come up with it. And it's going to be different from everybody else. Okay. Now, like I said, if you don't do this and you have a huge database, anybody can get lucky. If you have the gift for gab, you're going to talk to many people as possible. But if you want to do this in a short amount of time, like if I have a database of 600 people, how fast, who is going to do it faster to get to 100 transactions? The person who has no focus except for selling everybody and talking to everybody and putting everybody in your database, compared to the person who focuses on their strengths or weaknesses, knows what to say, knows what their value proposition is. Both of them is going to get to 100. Don't get me wrong. But who's going to have more family time? Who's going to have less stress? Because that one person has systems already in place, ready to go. They already know. Like when they sat down with their client, that person who has the unique value proposition said to Paul, hey, this is my promise to you. After we just spoke, after we just went through your property, this is my promise to you. I'm going to advertise your property for 3 days. Nobody's coming in there. Once that 3 days happens, you're going to go live for 7 days. I'm going to keep it on the market. I don't care how many showings we get, how many offers we get. After that 7th day, we're going to sit down. We're going to go over all the offers. You're going to choose one, or you're basically going to say, I don't want any, I want one, or I want to go back and I want the best and final. 2 days later, we're going to be under contract. After we're under contract, we're going to have an inspection in 7 to 10 days. After that, the appraiser is going to come out and we're going to be settled in 30 days after that. That is my promise to you right now if you sign these listing contracts. How powerful is that statement? Can any one of you agree with me or disagree with me? And who wouldn't do that? Do you think you would have enough confidence in yourself and your abilities that you would do that?
I guess it depends on the property and the situation.
I don't know what we're talking about because I had to let my dog in.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say it's dependent on the property.
I mean, like, I would never say that about Murray Ave, but
why not? Let's turn it around. If you had to give a promise to that seller, what would it be?
I will promise you, I will get you on the market. I'll get you much activity on and market your property to the best of my ability. I will get you qualified clients through this door. That's all I'm promising with a crappy property.
There you go. That's it.
I'm not promising I'm closing it out in 7 days and locking them up with 30,000 over or none of that crap, because I know the property. Now, if it's a great stud property, I guarantee we're going to list at this price. You're going to get tons of traffic through this property, and you're probably most likely going to get over asking. We'll have a bidding war. And
make it a stud property. So here's my thing. So about I don't know, many moons ago, I had this.
I probably need a match for that property.
Lightning. Let it.
So here's the thing. So you have a property on the Roosevelt Boulevard. They at that time, I think it was like 2006. Everybody was asking astronomical prices. He has no driveway. His driveway is a short driveway. He can't park out front. Parking's horrible on this property. Right? He's in the middle of the block. He's not even on the end. He's in the middle of the block. And he thinks he can get 10,000 more than everybody. So I went out there. I'm like, look, this is what I promise you. This is my promise to you. He's like, I'm going to list your property. We're going to get a ton of showings. I'm going to put a big ass sign on Roosevelt Boulevard. I mean, whoever's on the boulevard is going to see my sign, and I'm going to get a ton of buyer leads. But we're not going to get any contracts on your property. That's what I'm promising you. We're not going to get one contract on your property. You're going to get a lot of people going through. I'm going to get a lot of buyers from it. And then what's going to happen is in 30 days, I'm going to come back to you. I'm going to give you the results. I'm going to suggest you go down to 175. You don't have to take that. You can keep it still at 200,000. Keep it at 200,000 because I'm going to get those buyer leads. But once we hit that 175 market, I guarantee you within 7 days, you'll be under contract. Okay, Mike, let's do it. I'm like, okay, great. Showings after showings, 7 to 10 showings a week. Got buyers, got even a couple listings. Took them, I think, 45 days to reduce it. At first, he wanted to go to 180. I'm like, 180 is not going to do it. He wanted 175. Here's the net result at 175. This is what you're going to walk away with. You're going to be happy with that? Yeah. Then go at 175. When at 175, we got under contract in 2 days. So, yeah. So even on a piece of crap property, you can do the same thing. But you just got to be honest with them. You got to be upfront with them. You don't tell them that their house is like a butthole, but you're saying, no, you're overpriced. I'm going to get a ton of leads. I'm going to put a sign out there. I'm going to do neon site. Blink, 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 blink. Buy with Mike. But you got to be realistic with them. I mean, geez, how long did we keep Lowell on the market? How many leads did we get from that, Ken? This is ridiculous.
Lowell, we probably sold 4 properties off of that piece of crap.
So we talked bad about it. But man, you made some money off of that. You made some change off of that.
Yeah.
And you know what the funny thing was? She threatened us week after week, lawyers suing, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, yeah.
At the end of the day, she wanted to give you a big hug, dude. She thought you were the best thing.
Dude, she just didn't you brought her up. She just called me about not even a week ago and said, hey, just want to let you know I finally got myself a property in Virginia. I've been living with my son in South Carolina, right off the military base. We just closed on my Virginia property. I just want to let you know. Finally, that's been.
I mean, the day of settlement, she was like.
Yeah, you were there. You were on taking the phone calls. Yeah.
She signed on the hood of the U-Haul, remember? She's like, I'm leaving right now. They don't show up. The closer.
Oh, my God. That is great. Fun times. All right. So we're almost done. After this one step, we're going to call it a night. Step 2, how others describe you. So we already did the step 1. We did the resume. We did all that stuff. We wrote everything down. Like I said, guys, you're going to be writing pages and pages and pages. If you're not writing pages and pages and pages, that's still fine. But I guarantee you're going to be one of those people who's not going to be on this again. You may watch the videos, but you won't be on here live because you think you'll have better things to do or stuff like that. But once you get this, it's all, like I said, it's going to be boring, but once you see how beneficial this will be to you, you're going to want to do it over and over and over again. The words and phrases that others would use to describe you are a compelling part of your validity. People don't make shit up, dude. I'm sorry. People, they don't make shit up about you. If they talk to you, if they have a conversation with you, they're going to make their overall judgment about you. So even first impressions, like when you meet somebody at the bar, or you meet somebody for the first time at a party, or you meet somebody when you're going over, how many times, like when you meet your significant other's parents for the first time, is that meeting different than the meeting that you're having today? Yes, 100%. Because they're all on the defensive side. They're all judging you. They're all thinking, you're not good enough for my kid, Well, and then
so that was
what's that?
Mine was dead, so that was
yours is dead.
Oh, Jesus.
Or a family member or whatever. But they're making a judgment call on you, just like you make a judgment call on everybody. And I could tell Kelly made a judgment call on every freaking person that went through that office.
Right. I'll admit to that. I'll own my role.
But let me ask you that question though. So here's a perfect example. When you first was working with Brianna, that relationship compares to the relationship that you had a year from after that. Do you think it was different?
Yes.
Okay. This goes back to judging people on how they speak, how they act without really getting to know them. And this is the same as judging a book by its cover. So, and this is important too, because when you start seeing how other people describe you, you're going to know. And it's funny because I always tell people I'm an asshole. because I live by this. I'm basically saying how others are describing me. And I'm not saying that I'm an asshole, like I'll go around, kick animals and stuff like that. But they use that as a metaphor. I'm direct. I'm very, very direct. I don't sugarcoat anything. I come right out and tell you how I feel, whether I hurt your feelings or not. And that's how I am sometimes, because I'm the kind of person, I'll rip the Band-Aid off. I'm not going to go, no, rip it off. You know, sometimes it's bad. Sometimes it's good. But when people want an honest answer from me or want the true facts, they're coming to me because I'm going to give it to them. And that may be a good thing. That may be a bad thing. So some of the things to take in consideration when you're trying to think of how they're picturing you, focus on the people that you care about. The easiest exercise is to use your family members, moms, dads, people who really know you, your cheerleaders. These may be people that you love, like family member, yeah, just like I said. And then do the people that respect you, whether it's your teachers, your business partners, colleagues, coaches, how you dealt with them in certain situations. If they had to describe what your strong points are, what are they? And what would be an example of that situation? And what would be your weaknesses? If your previous employer, and this was popular back when I was going from job to job to job, we used to have to list our previous employer on there. And one of the questions was, if we were to call your employer, what would they say about you? So they're going to call. So what would they say? And that was pretty enlightening for me. You know, like I didn't really focus too much on what people thought of me, because I'll live my life the way I want. But there's another part of me that does care what people think about me. I want them to know that I'm always there for them. I'm only a phone call away. Whether it's something personal, whether it's something business level, I don't care. I don't want you ever saying to yourself, I had no one to call. That is what bothered me. That's why I always made sure that my phone was always on for everybody. And I would never, ever not take a phone call when it came to somebody needing something. Let's see. The people that you have great business relationships, like your vendors. Can you deal a lot with Brian? You know, why is he working with you? Because you're giving him deals. But here's the thing. Why are you working with him? Because he's closing your deals and he's giving you great business relationships. He's giving great customer service. He may not be the most competitive. Let's say he gets beat out every once in a while. But you know what? He's there for every single settlement. He's there when his phone rings. He's calling my client back. That's what I need. You can't always go with the cheapest person, because you could say the same thing in our field. You're going to go with that person who's doing 4% or who's going to charge you 6%. It's about the value I'm giving you. It's about the money I'm going to make you off that property. If he's only charging you 4%, what's he leaving off? So if was it Dan or Brian? I'm sorry. Brian. So if Brian was always undercutting everybody, which is pretty cool for us, and he's still closing the deals and giving everybody great deals, my question is, what kind of quality of life is he living? You know, if he's cutting himself short, you know, is that a good business plan? Your past customers, how would they describe your service? What is one thing notable you did from them? Here's a question that's not in this book. What is a notable thing that you didn't do for your past client that later you thought you should have done? And after you've realized that, would you have called that client and told them that? You know, so these are some deep questions, but this brings out your value proposition, or your unique value proposition. So basically do all that. These are all exercises. These are going to take you about a day, 2 days. And like I said, we used to do this class weekly. But like I said, I'm going to go through this. I don't think we have I don't think we have the time to go through weekly. Wait, what the hell just happened here? We did this one. Did we do this? About your past customer. Oh no. Yeah. So this is the end. This is the end of the. This is what you're going to be. Okay. So this is the end part. Like when we were doing the of the people who know you, how you describe yourself. These are the people of how they're going to describe you. Think about the people who love you. Write the words that they would use to describe you. Think about the people that you respect. How have you dealt with them? Would you have changed that? What have they noticed about you? And then think of the people that have great business relationships. Would they work with you? Why are these relationships great? Think about your past customers. How would they describe your service? What is one notable thing that you would do for them? You know, and again, like what did you leave out? All right, so we're going to leave off here. I think that's enough. We did about 16 pages, and then we'll finish everything up on Wednesday, and then Friday we'll do a recap of this chapter. Dude, this is a lot. I'm not going to lie to you. This is probably my second time teaching this, fourth time going through this class. This is a good class, but like I said, like I know you guys when you went through Bold, I got to go through Bold again. If you don't take a class and you don't really enjoy taking it, just don't take it. Because when I take a class, even though I've taken this before, well, you've already taken it. Why are you going to take it again? I've taken a business planning clinic like 8 times. I still get nuggets out of it. I love Bold. I love making those calls. If you don't like something, don't do it. Don't go do something else. You know, just be honest with yourself. Just don't go through emotions. Go do something you want to do. But I can tell you right now, if you do this, it doesn't matter. It's not just real estate. It's everything. It's everything that you do in life. If you know what your strong points are, think of somebody that is so sure of themselves, not ego, not egotistic or anything like that. But if you had to name one person that was very confident in themselves, very sure of themselves, that they could do anything that they put their minds to it, who would it be? Paul, who would that be?
Anyone? Do I have to know them personally or just anyone in general?
Anyone in general. Yeah, that's a good one. So even maybe not personally, but anyone in general that you know that could do anything.
It's a tough one.
It is, right? How about you, Kelly?
Danielle.
That is awesome. I am so glad this is recorded because I am going to show her that. That is awesome. That is very powerful. But yes, I agree with you on that. I've never met a team leader. This lady trained team leaders. So yes, and she keeps someone like Bob in check. I love it. I love it. Yes, she is very, very powerful and independent. I love it. How about you, Ken?
I mean, I know my one friend Anthony. He pretty much can do anything. So he's smart. He can build stuff. He can fix stuff. He's a good family guy. I don't know. He's a good businessman. I don't know. He's someone I would go to if I had a question or something. So
let me ask you this question then. Why aren't you communicating with them? Why aren't you hanging out with them? Why aren't you talking to them at least once a week?
I do. We communicate, but we're both just busy. But
busy. How much knowledge or how much energy could you get from that person if you met once a week, whether it's over a breakfast sandwich, a lunch, a dinner event? Find out what something. Hey, you like a golf? Hey, they're having a golf event. Green Tree's having one. You want to go? And just have a mission of just getting a piece of knowledge from them. You know, it's just a good feeling. It's just a good feeling, and you don't have to do it weekly. But here's the deal, though. If you're at the end of each week,
I can't meet anybody weekly. It just doesn't work, honestly.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Right.
That's fine. Say you can't make it weekly, maybe every other week. But here's the deal, though. If you knew that you're meeting this person they can do anything, why are they not on your schedule to at least talk to on the phone or meet with them once a week or once every other week? Because they're just going to make you a better person. You know, how many times have you talked yourself out of doing stuff or do something the wrong way or I'm not good at doing this? Pick their brains. These people want to talk to you. These people want to help you. It just is what it is. But I guarantee you, if you called your buddy Anthony and you called him at 9:00 tonight, and what's he good at? What's he really good at?
I don't know, project managing.
All right, say you had something that you had to get done, like project wise. I don't know if you're a billboard company or maybe I don't know. I'm just you threw a weird one at me. Project management. Say you're leading a team. Say you're thinking about starting a team. Say, hey, Anthony, do you have some time at 9:00 that we can talk? I got a question for you. Yeah, sure. So he's going to dedicate some time for you, whether it's 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes, whatever. But he knows you're going to be calling at 9:00. So you pick him up, and he's like, look, I want to see if you can help me out. I know you've never really ran a sales team before, but I know you're really smart. You're dedicated, and you complete everything that you put in front of yourself. I'm running into this new issue. I've never been there before. I'm leading people, and I want to, build a team. What's your opinion? If you were to build a team today, what are the 5 most important things? Like, how would you run it? And if you just shut up after that and let them talk, you're going to learn so much from them. You're going to learn their knowledge. You're going to learn how they would do it. And it's just another way of looking at it. Now, you don't have to do it verbatim, but at least 2 things are going to happen. You're going to get information that you didn't have, and you're going to strengthen your relationship with one of the people that you admire. Just is what it is. But that's it. That's all I have. Any questions? I know you guys are probably asleep. All right. I'll talk to you later. I'll send this recording out. See you guys later.
All right, later, Mike.
Bye.
Yeah.